Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk Now Radio, listener-supported radio, where no topic is taboo, and your support helps keep it that way. Brought to you by Revolution Radio, also listener-supported radio, where information never sleeps. And joining me today is going to be Georgia Love, and we're going to be discussing synchronicity, which is something in her book, Escape from Manhattan, she used quite frequently throughout the whole book. And I'm assuming she knows quite a bit about synchronicity and uses it quite frequently. So, Georgia, how you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, Been a while since we had a talk. I think we had one, 2-3 weeks ago over on my site?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and that was also about synchronicity, but you get a little bit more time to talk about it here than you did over there that night.
Oh, I just think it's wonderful. We could go on for hours about synchronicity. It is just such an amazing, amazing thing that happens in our lives when we become connected to the spiritual people. And what I mean by spiritual people, I mean your ancestors, your grandmother, your grandfather, your aunt, your uncle, your mom, your dad who've passed over that want to help you and guide you in your life. And if you respected and trusted them when they were alive, and it went both ways, they respected and trusted you, which is probably not the norm in today's society, but it was 50 years ago. And when we connect with those precious, precious people, they guide our lives. Synchronicity happens all over the place, and we are wide open to receiving, and we're grateful. It makes our lives so exciting because we don't know what they're going to do next.
I think you have got perhaps one of the most unique views on synchronicity I've heard from some of my guests in a long time. I mean, I hear people talk about it all the time in regards to coincidence. I mean, things just happening to happen along the same line that, in the same day. The number 3 will keep repeating, for example, or 6 or any other thing like that they say you should pay attention to. But you're the only person that I know of that gives credit to your ancestors and deceased loved ones for synchronicity.
Well, I hope that idea catches fire and people start to realize how precious their loved ones are that have passed over, and to be aware of all the wonderful things they do each and every day for us, to help us to not be afraid of death, not to be afraid of the fourth dimension, and which is the psychic world, right? And when we pass over, we're still in physical form, but we're vibrating at such a high rate that we are ghosts. People don't see us. And we're returned to our mental and physical health that we should have had, seeing we had a stroke or dementia, Alzheimer's, all that's gone. We are then back into a form which is wonderful, like probably middle 30s when we were vibrant and healthy and just could take on the whole world. And to know that is for us when we pass over, that we're not stuck with frail bodies and frail minds, that we are given our full potential again.
Right.
It's so exciting.
Well, I meant to mention something at the beginning of the show, and I leaped right into my conversation with you without bringing it up, so I'd like to take a minute out to remind everybody. First off, I want to tell everybody I appreciate it, everyone out there. I mean, not only do you listen to the show, but I'm looking at the donation meter, and here we are, 19 days left to go, but the goal has already been met. So some people have been out there being very generous, and Revolution Radio thanks you for it, and we'd love to encourage you to continue. I mean, I got a notice recently that they're going to be looking to get bigger servers because the listeners are getting to be so many that they need to grow a little bit. So this will help them along, and so will any future support. And don't forget that my show is also listener-supported, and if anybody wants to ask a question, the call-in number is 347-688-2902, and this is Studio A, as you know if you're listening. So coming back to the topic of synchronicity, I don't know why it is, Georgia, but for years I've had a habit of wanting to call it synchronicity.
I don't know. I don't think they care. I really don't. I mean, the spirit world is so real to me. I wish it could be. I became very aware of it when I was 3 years old, and it was driven out of me by the religious right. I won't even say which church, because I kept having visions of my dying uncles and them dead in snowbanks, and Back then, there was no television. The radio was CBC, Mozart, Beethoven, and Hank Snow. None of that, which would have given you any ideas of spirit world. That's a fact. And, like, to be able to go back to that time and realize as a child with my innocence how, I didn't know it was wrong to be able to see, or at least I don't think it's wrong now, but back then I was so shamed for my gift to be able to see my uncle dead 280 miles away. And, I didn't know death was a horrible thing or that it took people from us. I just knew that my uncle wasn't moving, and he was dead like the dead bird or the dead dog I'd seen a few weeks before. And I'm sure our children are seeing things and are aware of things. Like, I love that movie, The Sixth Sense, with that young man, that child.
I haven't watched that movie in almost 20 years.
Oh, it was just so real. I'm sure some of our children can see the spirit world. I know our animals can. I know they can. There's no doubt in my mind. And I know that I have animal, probably cats or dogs, that are in spirit world that bounce on my bed, and all of a sudden I'll feel the weight of them on my bed, and I know they're there. And it's just such a wonderful thing to know that spirit world is real.
Well, I know that people have said before that if your dog starts barking and there's nobody around that you can see, it's probably because there's a spirit in the room.
Or just outside the kitchen window or the living room window. They're in the yard. Yes. And by all means. It's so sad because we have all these horror movies, and especially with Halloween coming up, all these frightening movies and horror movies, and it makes people think that spirit world is something to be feared and that death is something to be feared. And how I wish I could turn on the light bulb in their head and let them know, my God, it's not anything to be afraid of. It is to be welcomed. We're talking eternity and infinity, something we can't even grasp with the minds that we've got. But the awesomeness of it, when you look at a night sky or you look at the, I'm trying to think, Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, if you call them, when you start looking at all this magic that is around us, the plants coming up in the spring and the flowers blooming and them growing, and, all of that is just so magical. And before science took over and told us we didn't have a spirit or a soul and that we're meat computers, we had that magic in life and that wonder in life. And I so regret that science has to view it that way, because if they really took a look and they started to realize how intricate everything is, you can't help but know there's an order in the universe, and something way, way bigger than us has got control of this whole thing.
Well, you know what I was wondering while I was listening to you? I was just sitting here wondering if ghosts look like see-through apparatuses to us, or plasma, or, whatever we view them. I wonder what we look like at times where we're in, like, say, a near-death experience and popping into their world.
Wow, yeah, and you know what? Oh, my God, I got to share this with you. When I have done spiritual readings, psychic readings for people, and their loved one is in a coma state, or they are deep, deep asleep, like whatever, right? Or again, if they're passed out cold through drugs or booze, their spirit is, or through anesthetic when you have an operation, whenever your body is in a more of a comatose state, your loved ones can reach you. You can reach the spirit of that person, or as a spirit in that state, you can reach your loved ones. You can astral travel in that. You can also go to your higher self and renegotiate what you're going to do with your life when you're under anesthetic, and it is just so exciting. That spirit part of us is so dynamic, so very real.
Now, that's the first I've heard of going to your higher self and redesigning your life, so to speak. Where did you hear about this at, or, can you tell us more about it?
Okay, this is something I've had first-hand experience about in my life. 2 or 3 times I've had to go under anesthetic, and I've noticed as soon as I came back that my world started to shift. things started to change. I'd have plans to go in one direction, and everything would be evaluated. And they could be minor surgeries. Didn't have to, one was a gangliectomy in my wrist, and it mattered, being out for an hour, and them going into my wrist and pulling out all these little calcified beads that filled there. The second time was a hemorrhoid operation, which that was kind of painful, but I was out for a little while, and my life totally rearranged at that point. And then you go out cold when you're doing a colonoscopy, and again my life rearranged. So it is really quite fascinating that, and of course I've seen this with people when they've been in an alcoholic stupor and unconscious, because I used to work the emergency room as a nurse. And boy, you see it there where people will be, brought in and resuscitated at different times, and their whole life changed. They turn their life over to God, and I certainly believe that it's spirit world that's intervened. One of their ancestors that passed over, a grandmother that was devout and religious, has finally been able to get through to them, and their life changed for the better, for sanity. And they've been able to just blow off the addiction, whatever it was that was part of them. And so all of these, I call it synchronicity because it's spirit connecting with the human body and the human mind, and the whole concept there to change things.
I know that people have had near-death experiences and came back with a whole new mission in life.
Yes.
Do you think maybe you had, while under anesthesia, had a near-death experience that accounted for it?
Yes, because you are able to talk to your higher self. We're not just this little shell here. Our higher self, it connects with us, right? In many times, but we'll see it. I think some of the times when our higher self really connects is when, say, someone has trapped under a car, and all of a sudden we have the physical force to lift that car right off that child or that dog or whatever. It's gone. And at that moment, we are in full dimension. We're not just, as people know, we only use, I think, 5% of our brain. The rest is not there. Well, where is that other 95%? I call that our higher self. I call it our higher self. Okay. And you yourself, how many times have you been unconscious with your health challenges?
Not actually that many.
Okay.
Well, I just recently had the colonoscopy. I've had a couple of hernia surgeries, and I had my arm operated on. So, what's that, about 4 times?
Each time you've gone to that state of unconsciousness, right? Your higher, that 95% of your brain connects with you. Maybe that is your higher self. It connects anyway. And like a spider web, how the spider weaves this incredible web, and how they do that? Well, our lives are like that too, and we connect on so many levels.
So it's more or less kind of like standing on the doorway between this realm and the spirit realm when you're in near-death experience.
Yeah, but we do that when we're unconscious, for whether it's an operation, whether we've taken an overdose, or, maybe we've had a stroke or we've had a heart attack, and for a few minutes we've been out. During that time, magic happens.
Well, when magic. People die, their spirit leaves their body, and you don't get to see it actually come out of the body unless you're able to see auras or something like that. Mm-hmm. There's got to be something about you can't be alive in 2 realms at one time, or should I say not alive, but you can't be conscious in 2 realms, can't be aware. It's kind of like being either inside or outside. You got a doorway that you can traverse back and forth, but you have to be in one or other, or your awareness has to be in one or the other at any given point in time. That's what it would seem like to me.
Yeah, like when people ask to travel. This can happen when they're in an extreme shock situation. Their spirit just leaves them for a while, and then maybe they've been brought into emergency and they're looking at their body there and they're not alive, and they're asked to travel and they're watching all of this, right? And then all of a sudden they're back in their body again when they resuscitate them, right? For me, at my first experience, I think I was 21 years old when I asked to travel because I'd given an extreme shock with the way my son was born. I was just, I was just overwhelmed with what the birth defect for my son, and I was astral traveling. I was up above on the ceiling looking down at the whole scene. So I have done it myself, where I really was aware of being outside my body and seeing everything go on. And these times are wonderful because we connect with our higher self in a very strong way. So if you've got to have an operation, be just so grateful, because this is the time for you to connect and change a lot of things in your life. Go into that situation with joy in your heart and knowing that you're going to be able to make your life much different if that's what you choose to do.
Well, you know, I remember hearing on the news one time, I mean, this was like 4, 5, 6 years ago. I'm not real good with time frames. I guess time's just not that important to me. But what had happened was there's this lady on the news talking about having a out-of-body experience while on the operating table, much like you're talking about. The difference with you and her, though, is she said when she left her body and was looking down, she could hear the doctors making crass remarks about her body.
Oh, yeah. And this happens in surgery. It happens when we're unconscious. And, of course, it goes right to the subconscious. Like, it is really hard to shake those comments off because you don't have that filter that you could normally say, oh, that person is pretty ignorant. I don't have to accept that, right? You don't have that filter. It goes right to the soul. It goes right to the bone of your personality, of who you are. So, yeah, I mean, I am just so grateful for the knowledge that I have. And like I teach dowsing, I can teach this on Facebook. You know, I want people to understand that the spirit world is just so profound. And we've got such a narrow view of it, like Halloween stories and horror stories with all these movie producers making these frightening stories. It is so sad that is people's view of what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, there's just much more.
Okay. Now, what would you say would be the difference, though, between astral travel and out-of-body? Are they one and the same, just by different titles?
You know what? You've really got me wondering, because I'm not really sure. Now, that's a real good question. You know that. For me,
I've heard different opinions on it.
That's a question I wasn't prepared for, that's for sure. To me, astral traveling, I was very aware of it all happening. Totally aware. To me, an out-of-body experience, you may not be aware. Like at that point, you're unconscious and you're not aware.
Well, what I've had some people tell me was that with astral travel, you're going inside your mind, inside of your soul, that with out-of-body, you're just leaving your body, in other words. Other people have said that they were really one and the same thing. So I just asked various psychics.
To me, it's one and the same thing. I think it's one and the same thing.
You know, about their opinion on it, since it seems to be opinion-based at this time, in other words.
I think it's the same thing. Like the astral traveling, your spirit, you know, your higher self, that 95% of your brain just detaches and views the whole scene. That was for me. Now, I don't know. There hasn't been enough research. I haven't found enough research, so I cannot say definitively what's going on.
We are talking opinion here, so don't worry about definitive.
I don't know. I just know that the time that I astral traveled, I was very aware that I was watching myself, I was watching the nurses and the doctors, and I was watching my son that had been born without any muscles, stomach muscles, without any, with very few bladder muscles. His bladder was defunct, and his kidneys were 3 times the size he was supposed to have them, and he was totally gray. You know, I was looking at a gray baby, but he wasn't an alien gray. It was just he was gray in color because his kidneys 3 times the size that were supposed to be. He couldn't get the urine out of his kidneys, and they were backing up. It's called hydronephrosis. And so I was just in shock. So, you know, maybe astral traveling is a form of shock. I don't know. But to me, out of body is the same thing. Whereas when you're unconscious in an anesthetic, you're not aware of any of this.
So
usually you don't.
You knew
but that's different folks, right?
You saw the baby before you came out of anesthesia then?
Oh, no, he was born. He was laying in the bassinet, and they were showing me my son, right? And I was breathing, I was alive, I wasn't, my blood pressure was normal. I was just watching this whole thing develop, the nurses and the doctors and his condition, like he is a baby, right? I was watching all of this. I was watching my own reaction. It was incredible. It was an incredible experience. One I'll never forget. It was just like happened a second ago. That is one memory that will never leave me. I hope, whereas when I've gone under anesthetic, I have not remembered talking with my higher self, with my spirit guides, with my ancestors. I have not remembered any of that. I just know that afterwards my life changes again.
So you've been known to speak with spirit guides before?
Oh, Lord, that's a good question, because it's not words directly, it's ideas that they give. You get ideas and you're thinking, well, that was a strange idea. Where did that come from? And those are kind of thoughts that or the music will come on the radio, their favorite song. I could talk about this. When my mother died, I had a TR6, and if you've ever had one of these little British cars, you realize that the electronics in them are just off the wall. So I had left northern BC, and I was driving back to Victoria, where I lived, and at Williams Lake, the electronics went all together. There was no radio, there was no lights on my car, but I could still keep driving, so I kept driving. And I ended up, when I got to Victoria, I turned on my lights all of a sudden came on again, and my radio came on, and the song that came on was, and I've never heard the song since. I don't even know where you'd find this song. But the words were, "I will always be a part of you. I will always love you, and I will always be a part of you." And I thought, my goodness, of all the songs to come on, here is my mother telling me that she loves me and she will always be a part of me. And I mean, I drove for 300 miles without any electrical lights or radio working, but as soon as I docked on Vancouver Island and was driving off the ferry here, the radio came on and the lights came on. So, I mean, this is synchronicity in action. And they control electricity. Boy, can they ever. So, if you have electrical problems around your house or in your life, it could be that spirit world is trying very hard to communicate with you and listen up.
Well, I know we had a short in this house one time, and we have one of those yard lights hanging up on the corner of the house, and the wire to it leads into the house into a hole in the wall, and it plugs in down at the wall outlet. And we'd had a short in it, and somebody had put the bulb in it wrong, and it rained, and that bulb popped and got wet, and the fire sparked, and it come down, and the wire lit inside the house. And that wire, you could see where it burnt the wall above Uncle Marvin's picture and below Uncle Marvin's picture, but Uncle Marvin's picture did not get touched by the burning wire.
Is that weird? See, now that's synchronicity. That is synchronicity in action. And when you start seeing that, your life just, that you're in touch with spirit world, and all it is a matter of talking to the spirits that have gone over and letting them know that you really love them and that you miss them and that you want help from them in your life.
Yeah, but then you have to be able to recognize the help. I mean, if they do things through synchronicity and you don't recognize them, then it's like you're not getting your help. That's right. You're ignoring them. They're not very happy with you. And what if they're not? What if it's not a matter that somebody's trying to ignore? They just clueless, in other words. They're clueless, yeah. Well, they'll keep on trying. They'll keep on. I think one of the saddest things, if you stop and you think about it, if you did pass away tomorrow, would you want to be totally ignored by all the people that loved you? Would that make you happy that nobody ever spoke to you again? Nobody, they just shunned you forever because they were afraid of you because you're now in spirit world? Hello? Am I getting through to anyone up there? Would you like that to happen to you? Actually, I think that already happens a lot because the church teaches against the spirit world.
Oh, I know, but that's only the recent religions in the last 100 years. The Roman Catholic, the Anglican, Presbyterian, Lutheran, Greek Orthodox, oh my God, Methodist, Lutheran, did I say that one already? Anglican. All of these old line religions, there was nothing wrong with talking to your loved ones that passed over. I was raised in the Anglican, Roman Catholic to a certain degree, and the United Church. And we never thought anything wrong with saying, you know, Grandma, I know you love roses. Please help this rose bush grow. And it grew.
Well, I know that the churches today that are against it, they quote a verse out of the Old Testament where God instructs the ancient Israelites not to speak with familiar spirits. Now, that could be a mistranslation or a misunderstanding of that verse that they're having that the Catholics and the other old churches don't have. I'm not sure.
Well, I know as a little girl, I talked with my uncles when they passed over and my grandmother, and I could feel their presence. My one grandmother was a beautiful artist, and I had her painting, and I would often go and talk to her when I was a little girl. I'd never met her. She died when my mom was 2 or 3, and so, but her spirit was in that painting. And I would go and I would talk to her because I could feel her energy there. I could feel her presence there. And I would talk to her. And I mean, I was 3 or 4 or 5 and I had the common sense to go and talk to her when I was sad and I was upset with something. I had no one else to go to, but I'd go to her and talk to her because as a child, I could feel her energy. I could feel her presence in that painting. And that maybe that's why some pieces of art sell for so much money, because the people bidding on those pieces of art want to connect to the spirit that is involved with that painting. But that only happens after they die. Before, they're not recognized at all.
That seems to be pretty common, to be honest with you. Half your geniuses the world over were thought to be idiots until after they died.
Yeah, because them people with big money that want to get involved in spirit, because let me tell you, the Illuminati and those billionaires, they got there because they had the common sense to talk to their ancestors and get the ego view of what was going on in the world around them. They didn't have the Robin view. They had the ego view to go for things. I mean, you know, think about it. How come Bill Gates and Oprah and all these different people that are now billionaires, how did they get there? They're flesh and blood human beings. What was their edge? What made their life so much different that they got to that position? And now, of course, they want to make sure nobody affects that position. So, yes, let's have all these religions that tell you not to talk to your grandma who passed over because they want to hoard that secret to themselves. Like, I mean, there's a reason why these modern-day religions have sprung up in the last 100 years.
That's true.
They don't want you to know you can talk to Grandma or your mom or your dad.
When I first called you, before we connected to the studio, was that astrology readings you were mentioning you might be willing to do?
I don't have it all set up. I do it with a computer program because it takes 4 hours to set up a modern chart. I don't have 4 hours per person. And
yeah, that's true.
So, we only got an hour left.
You suggested either astrology or tarot cards. Was it tarot cards?
I've got some tarot cards, and they work the same way. There's 78 cards, and every time I do them, I don't play God and sit there and, shuffle the deck and lay them out for people. I so believe that if they've come to me for a reading, I'm going to help them do as much as they can to get their energy into the cards. And no, I'm not afraid of their energy taking me over or any of that crap. I let them mix the cards in front of me. They put the cards together. Then we lay them out, and they pick the cards that they feel are going to give them a reading, because they don't need my reading. They need their reading. And so I'm very clear on how to do a psychic reading for people with the tarot cards. Mine are called the Wise Woman Tarot. And it encompasses all of the Aboriginal groups, from Iceland to Norway to Icelandic, Hawaiian,
right.
Mexican, Native Indian, all of it. Because all the Aboriginal groups teach this basic truth that our ancestors are there to go to for help.
Well, I know the Native Americans were many tribes were firm believers in that. But what I was going to suggest was we got about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes maybe, on this here segment before we go to break. I was going to suggest that anybody out there wants a tarot reading, when we come back from break, the call-in number is 347-688-2902. Give a call in, and in the meantime, me and her will continue about synchronicity, and then when we get back, we'll give you a chance to call us, and we'll play it by ear from there. I just wanted to throw that out there, give them a chance to think about it while we were talking, in other words.
Oh, that would be wonderful, seriously. My tarot deck is all gentle cards. I do not believe that we have to have a horrific card that depicts hell or a card that depicts Satan or any of that. There are archetypes that are in religion that view Satan, but in my view, and the card that I have that depicts it, it's called trickery. It's called deception. And so it's a picture of a guy sneaking away that is, doing deceitful work. It's not a scary card. And the death card, I should say, the death card is just a transition card. It's a picture of a sunset because it applies to many things that end in our life, whether it's a job or we have to retire the old car because it won't go any farther, or, we're moving away from a house. It's the end of living at that place. So that transition card comes up a lot because, to be honest with you, the period of life that we have, this 70 years or more, I'm hoping for 100. God knows if I'll make it or not. Health-wise, I'll make it, but I don't know about the rest. But that transition card, I have no fear whatsoever of going to the other side. I know that a wonderful, wonderful place exists for me, and I totally believe in reincarnation. So I'm dedicated to living my life in honesty and truth, and as nobly and as holy as I can as a human. I mean, I've got failings, Lord knows, I got a ton of them, but I'm trying to live a noble life because I want to come back with that energy, with my energy raised to that level that I just naturally slip into my next lifetime in a much better position in life than what I came in this lifetime.
With the worst president.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'm hoping I'm going to be over in Australia, to be honest, or Norway, Sweden. I'm choosing.
Well,
Norway would be good.
I was listening to you, Georgia. I couldn't help but think when you were talking that if you look down to the ages, especially, say, from, well, not ages, but I mean, you look back in time, say, from the 50s to now, and we progressively have gotten worse.
Oh, Lord.
Like over time, in other words. So
anybody
that died in the 1950s that were reborn in the 1990s would have seen a much worse world with a much worse government than it was when they were alive before. What about the people that die in 90 or die now and wake up 25, 30 years from now? What will the government be like then if it follows the same trend, in other words?
I am concerned that it will be a police state. And so I'm praying every single day that we gain the awareness. That is why I'm on a crusade, so to speak, to have people realize that in spirit world they have power. We can change things from that side, because I'm very concerned that we cannot do it from this side. It has gone past the zero mark on this side. Like, we're so close to just having 1984 happen. I don't know if you've ever read that book, 1984, but it's scary. It's past fast. Oh, you haven't? It was written, I believe, by George Orwell, and it was 2 continents, and it was totally controlled, way past communism, way past even the Chinese communism that exists today. It was a fascist state. Did you see? Oh, what was that movie called? Oh, my Lord, I can't think of it right now, but it was at a certain age you were put to sleep. At age 35, you were put to sleep, and anybody older than 35 was not wanted.
That reminds me of a movie called Logan's Run.
That's it. Well, yes, that was, yes. I think that was what it was called.
Of course, I mainly watched it for the pretty girl in it at the time.
But yeah, like, I mean, I think we're very much headed in that way. And I mean, right now with this wanting to close the borders because there's this Ebola out there. You know, like, I mean, is that the forerunner to close the Americans to their population? Well, it's not going to work because you're still sending over ships from China full with nuclear radiated clothing and toys and God knows what from China that is covered with nuclear radiation. I mean, last year at this time, I met a woman up here who had to turn back a whole shipload of Toyo tires because they were too contaminated with nuclear radiation. They couldn't get across the border. But how many, that's Canadian borders, so, you know, the port in Vancouver, so is the same thing happening in the States? Are they being as, what's what I want, aware?
Oh.
You know, are they really watching what's coming over in these ships? You know,
I hadn't really thought about that, but it makes perfect sense that when they had that nuclear meltdown, that
it's still going on.
That a lot of the companies, the you know, goods people, clothing, toys, food, whatever, probably did get contaminated from close proximity, and then the people didn't want to lose money on sales. So, what was their next option? To try to ship it elsewhere and still make money?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm very concerned about, I think this Chinese uprising goes a lot deeper than we have any understanding, because I think people in those Chinese factories that line the shore, the coastline where Japan is when the wind blows that way, they're getting a huge, huge blast of nuclear radiation because it's not contained yet. And the Chinese factory workers are dying with nuclear radiation symptoms. And I think that's why the people there are picketing, and they're wanting some help from the rest of the world. I mean, we don't want to war with China, but I think that it's going to come right within their own country that this whole control over the people is going to stop. And they're going to start taking accountability. I would not want rice from China, thank you. I'll take my rice from India or somewhere else, but I have no interest in eating rice from China. Thank you. Because those rice paddies, just what condition are they in? I would want someone to check those rice paddies and see what we're getting here, being shipped over here. Is it safe to eat? And I don't think our governments would give a damn.
Well, they may not have thought to check it. Or they may have been too trusting of China.
I don't know. I'd be checking them if I was a public health worker. If the Toyo tires had to be sent back, what about the rest of the stuff? Like, what is really happening over there? And what is happening in Japan itself? It seems every time I turn on this weather station, they're being hit with another tsunami, or not a tsunami, but hurricane or tornado. It's just nuts. Storm after storm for Japan. Every time I turn it on. You don't have the Weather Channel there where it goes all over the world?
I never watched that. I'm not much on TV.
Oh, boy, that just puts... You really are aware about HAARP and the weather control that is going on. And
now, that I'm aware of, but I found that online.
Okay. Well, I watched about 2 weeks ago this hurricane go up the west coast of the States and up to around Vancouver, and then it made an abrupt turn right, and it turned back on itself, and it went down and went across, left-hand turn, through the Gulf of Mexico there.
I talked to somebody about that not long ago.
And then it went up the right coast, the east coast, and I'm thinking, hurricanes don't do that. They don't totally change their direction. That is just unheard of. And to me, hey, that is HAARP in action, controlling what is going on. And I just, oh my God. Today I turned it on, and Italy has had 350 days worth of rain in 3 hours. So everything is flooded there. Their cars are upside down on top of buildings. Just a holy mess over there. And I just think that we're under attack by HAARP. I know it sounds crazy, but they're using weather control.
Other countries are.
We are, and the other countries are. Like, just to make mass chaos, mass confusion, and to be honest, to destroy the middle class. I can't help but think that that's what's going on. And the thing is that these G5 summits and these secret meetings that the billionaires go to, they are fully aware of HAARP. They are fully aware of what is going on, and their mandate is to eliminate the population down to 500 million instead of what is on the earth right now. And with this Ebola scare, holy Hannah, is that going to be their route along with the weather insanity? I don't know. And I really, really want people to start talking to the people in spirit that have passed over and start asking for their help. Because they're electrical. Spirit is electrical. They have got the power to knock out this HAARP. Jeez, they just go in there and mess with the computers. There must be some people in spirit that understand computers. And they just need to go visit there, and they can just totally take over those computers that are running HAARP.
You do know that begs the question, if they're able to do it, what's been stopping them all this time?
I don't know. Maybe they're not aware they can, because they're in the form. I do know this, okay? One of the girls here, one of the women here in my town decided they were going to do a psychic fair in a United Church. Okay? And what people don't realize is that we've been taught in the last 50, 100 years that Jesus is going to come and take us by our hand when we pass over, and we don't have to go the white light on our own at all. And so a lot of the churches are full of spirits with spirits that are stuck there because they don't know they can go home. They're waiting for Jesus to come and get them. And so they're very angry spirits. So if you can imagine, United Church, all of a sudden they're going to have a psychic fair in the United Church. And all these spirits are stuck there because they don't have more wisdom than what they've got. And they are mad as H that this psychic fair is happening there because they don't understand what's going on. To them, it's witchcraft, it's Satanism, it's evil. And none of that was going on, by the way, but that was their perception of what was going to happen. The girl that put together, actually 3 people, one had heart problems, a heart attack, was rushed to intensive care within a very short period of time of doing the event. The other one had a massive brain meltdown very soon afterwards. And I don't know, there was somebody else killed in a car accident shortly thereafter because these spirits that were ignorant, that didn't understand their role in spirit world, to go to the white light, attacked these 3 people. And this is real. Like, this is not fiction. This really happened. And so, it's a matter of educating the people in spirit. In fact, the spirits, the 3,000 people that died on September the 11th, I'm wondering how many of them even realize they're dead yet. And there was a perfect example of spirit world when the 3,000 people were dustified in 2.5 minutes. There was no beings to clean up. There were no humans to clean up. It was dust everywhere. The buildings were dust, and they were dust, and I believe it was done by HAARP, and I believe it was done by resonance, microwave to death. But 1,000 of those.
Judy Woods believes the same thing, only she didn't add HAARP in there, but she does believe it was by sound resonance.
She does too. Well, I think HAARP did it. I really, truly did. They have the power with HAARP to do that.
Yeah,
they really do.
I wonder if there's been any ghost hunters that have actually went down to ground zero and tried to get any EMF readings or anything.
I don't know.
Or if there's been any psychics try to go over there and talk to anybody on or mediums or something. I wish
somebody would. I wish. Like, I'm too far away. I'm 4,000 miles away. There's no way I have the money to go there and do that. But I do believe that the 1,000 that jumped, they were pulling their clothes off because they were so hot. They were being cooked literally from the inside out, which a microwave does with resonance, right? It's vibration, molecules, right? They were pulling off their shoes in that jump. They were pulling off their clothes, trying to cool off, right? And they didn't care that they were jumping. They were just so hot, right? And those people, there was a huge car park lot quite a ways away from there. And cars were instantly going on fire. Parts of them were being burnt, parts not burnt. vehicles turned upside down. It was just it was a Holocaust over there. And I really believe that the spirits that jumped or the spirits that left that building, the 3,000, went to their cars because they didn't know they were dead and they wanted to get home. And unfortunately, being still electrical beings, electrical creatures at that time, when they touched the electronics of their vehicles, the vehicles burst into flames. Or if they leaned against the vehicle, that was enough to make the marks on the vehicles that are shown where the vehicle didn't set on fire, but a portion of it was burned. Is the only explanation. And I'll tell you, those firemen, those precious firemen that went into those places, and the police, the first responders that showed up there for that event, for that tragedy, I think a lot of them understood what was going to happen, and they went anyway. They were forewarned. And I think that's why, ambulances were turned upside down. Like Dr. Judy Woods has her 800-page book with pictures taken by FEMA.
That's who I was talking about a minute ago, was Dr. Judy Woods.
And her book is called Where Did the Towers Go?
Exactly.
It's an 800-page book with tons of pictures in there showing how the vehicles were differently burned. Like some were just the trunk was burned. So maybe the spirit, when they got there, realized what had happened and leaned against the trunk. So only that part is burned. Maybe the door, where they touched the door handle, only that part was burned because they didn't get inside the vehicle. Something stopped them, and they didn't get inside the vehicle to touch the electronics because it would have been an imaginary hand with, not imaginary, but what's what I want? A ghost hand trying to turn on the key or push the button for their vehicle to go, right? And that's all electronic. So boom, an instant fire for the whole vehicle. And vehicles like ambulances, fire trucks were turned upside down. I mean, I could see those firemen just so angry because they realized they were in spirit now. And they had the force to 1, 2, 3, let's turn this vehicle upside down. Let's give a message to the people here that this is spirit, what it can do. Because right. I believe that firemen would do that because they have lots of time to read and go on internet and study. Like they think outside the box, which I don't think the RCMP do, or the military, or the policemen, but I think firemen do, and that's why they're so loved. And then the first responders next. They think outside the box because they're in touch with spirit world all the time. And so I think that they're more ready to do ghost hunting or ghost whatever. They're more ready to understand that. I think because the military have to kill people, they don't want to know about ghosts.
Yeah.
They don't want to know. Okay. Okay. They'll go over there. We don't want to know that we've just taken out a father and a son and a brother to somebody, and this was a human being. They don't want to know that, but the firemen would. Quite a difference.
Do you know if they ever built anything up there at 911?
There's a monument there, and they read off every 9/11. They read off the names. But that's just roll call. That would just bring all this. So
basically, they're just going to leave a monument there to mark it. It's kind of like a historical spot, but they're not going to put a building back. My concern is down the road, the Illuminati or this 1% will rewrite the history books, and 9/11 will never have happened. And I could see that happening. You're darn right. I don't know. They may want the world to know it happened and use it as a threat.
Maybe.
See,
I don't know.
This could happen again. You know what I mean?
Well, all those buildings, and it wasn't just the towers. There were other buildings that were dustified too. And, they did it in 2.5 minutes, 5.4 million tons of materials in 2.5 minutes. And nobody seems, you and I, but I don't know how many others, very few, don't get it. Whether they've been brainwashed, I don't know. It's just so weird. I can't help but wonder. I don't know if you know Dr. Nick Beggish. He has said that HARP is capable of mind control. He's been saying that, I think, for 24 years. A long, long time. And I'm wondering if they've just brainwashed everybody in the Manhattan, New York, everywhere, that you don't talk about this. This is out of your realm of even talking about. That 5.4 million tons were dustified and 3,000 people dustified. I can't help but wonder.
I was wondering if Justified was a real word or not, so while I was listening to you, I Googled the word Justified by itself now, mind you, and I'm seeing results here about where the Twin Towers justified, new and shocking proof evidence, towers justified, how were the Twin Towers justified. I mean, I didn't even put towers or New York or 911. I just put justified.
Holy
and the first thing
Hannah.
that comes up is articles about 911, in other words.
Yes.
Must
So
be a
there are
pretty hot
people.
topic.
There are people that are getting the idea that, yes, this is what happened, and when are they going to decide to do a whole city? That would take, I guess, 12 minutes instead of 2.5.
I wouldn't be
Like,
the one,
I mean,
what if
we
the one
have
living in that city.
You know, seriously. I mean, I do not believe that, we're led to believe that this whole terror was caused by the Middle East bullshit. Because, I mean, in my book, we see that this girl in the oil and gas lounge had the audio cassette made with them talking about folding the dollar or the money in the U.S. a certain way to show the Twin Towers on fire and going down, and also the White House. And that was done long before, and it came from the gas and oil industry. Maybe that's why they're lowering the prices on the gas and oil, because people have finally clued in who these bastards are that did this shit. Hope I'm not saying...
Naughty word, Georgia. Anyway.
Sorry.
We're going to be coming back in just a few minutes here. I can hear the music interrupting us. That's okay.
Are we cut off because I said SHIT? Really?
No, break time.
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. We'll be right back after this message.
Who are you? I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you.
Why am I here?
You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision, which has led you inexorably here.
You haven't answered my question.
The Matrix is older than you know. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most...
Okay, everybody, welcome back. And now that we're going into the second hour, would be a good time. While I'm talking to our guest, Georgia, if y'all want to get a tarot reading, either call in at, I had that number just a minute ago. Here it is, 347-688-2902. Or if you're on Skype and one of the hosts, you can just, come into the Studio A. If you're on my friends list, you can always Skype me and I can bring you in that way. Feel free to give us a call at any time and we'll just take a break in the conversation and take care of the reading. So, Georgia, are you back?
I sure am.
Are you front?
Pardon?
I just wanted to mess with your mind for a minute.
You. You're too funny. Yeah, I'm right here. I just had a wonderful idea. So see, ideas come. Where do ideas come from? I believe they come from spirit world, from synchronicity. If someone out there really wants to change what is really going on, if they go to the New York Towers area and write down all of the names that are on, they're all there on this big monument, right? And they send me all those names, or they themselves right there in Manhattan form a group with Ghostbusters or one of the groups there that work with ghost hunting and stuff like that. They get all their names and they start talking, chanting or singing, whatever, to relate to those people that are there in spirit world and ask them to change things. Oh my Lord, things will be changed in a really big hurry. I think that is what the billionaires are so afraid of, is if we can get all those souls, 3,000 of them, or close to that, aware of what happened and on board with trying to change what's happening. Because when they're building these two big towers, they just built them in New York or Manhattan, and they go for $900 million a condo.
That's a
and
lot.
these billionaires that have built these two new towers, they are so afraid of things changing. Well, the only way it's going to change is if we start talking to those 3,000 souls that are listed on those monuments and ask for their help to change things so this never happens again, so that we don't lose the whole city in 12 minutes.
Right.
Because
Okay.
believe me, those people that are living in those towers, they are responsible for what happened at 9/11.
Georgia?
Mm.
Thought I'd let you know we just got a caller.
They probably
Caller,
want to give me heck, but
516, you're on the air.
Hi, my name is Frank. I'm calling from New York. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great. I understand you're giving out tarot card readings?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So I would like a reading, please.
Okay. Alrighty. I will ask one question. Who in spirit world would you want to connect with? Because I need to call them to the scene here. Do you have a grandmother?
My mother?
Your mom? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I normally you would be handling these cards, so this is remote doing, right? So I'm calling your mom here to help you today. So I'm going to pick up a card here. Just 1 minute. Are you still there?
Yep.
Hello? Yeah, okay. I'm picking a card right now. And it is, are you a teacher? Do you teach martial arts, or do you teach anything like that in your community? Or do people view you as a teacher?
I have friends that I discovered that I could feel energy with my hands. And
Okay.
I'm trying to teach my friends, but I don't do it as a teacher. Wherever I could squeeze in that kind of physical knowledge, I try to.
Right, because I see you as someone that people go to for information, and it's very little that you're afraid of. Like you face life head on.
Okay.
That makes sense a little bit?
Yeah. I mean,
okay,
people do come to me. Oh, sorry.
Okay. I'm also getting something very wonderful. It's saying here right now, Great Spirit, Mother Creator, bless the earth through my life. Source of all nourishment, we seek to replenish your sacred world. Guide us now through these images, words, and feelings within us as we reach into the wholeness that all that is needed to be known. And I can see that your mother was a very spiritual person, and she herself, she didn't run from things. She faced it head on. No matter how bad it was, she was right there. Bring it on. Am I right?
Yeah.
She was a very brave lady. Okay. And I believe that there's a new, you're going to start studying something again, very new. I'm getting here the beginning of new knowledge and new action on it. That she wants you to start something new and take your energy that you're already developing and have developed and take it to a whole new level.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Well, when I find something that I like, I study it like an animal.
I hear you.
And
yes.
I devour all pieces of knowledge regarding it. But I haven't had anything new that gave me that kind of drive lately. So,
okay. Do you read cards for people at all?
No.
Well, I can see you at some time beginning to do that. There's medicine woman cards. They're very nice. You would want something, maybe the animal cards, animal tokens. I see you doing, or I Ching. I'm getting there's some kind of native influence around you. Does that make sense?
A native influence?
Yeah.
I don't know of a native influence.
Okay. Do you live anywhere near there's a cemetery?
No.
Okay. Right. Or a place where they take people's ashes and have them in. I don't know right now I can't think of the name of that. Where there's, yeah. Is there anything? Because I feel spirit world more than just your mother wants to be connected with your life, and they're very much into the wholeness of the earth.
Okay.
You know, they want a sacred earth again. They want our earth to be able to sustain itself, and they're very aware. Yeah.
Are you getting this from the cards or from part psychic reading?
Well, that's what the tarot cards do. It just opens a door.
It opens a door for you to see it.
Yeah. It's like a door opening a door. And I feel strongly that you are an environmentalist, that you care about our planet, and you see what's going wrong, and you felt that it was overwhelming to even try and do much about it. And I feel that you are going to be led by your mom, and there are other spirits with her that see what's going wrong, and they want to be accountable too and help you with this. So something very new, and it's action. It's studying something new to help. See, the thing that people don't realize is that HARP was, I don't know if you're aware of HARP, but it was started around the 80s, and it was put together originally to heal the planet, to make it so there would be no famines in Africa and India, that there would be plenty of the rain at the right time, and there would be enough of it, not too much. It was a tool. It was a scientific tool created to help our planet, and they've turned it against the planet, which is so sad. And it can be reversed.
Just thought I'd let you two know that there is another caller on hold.
Okay. Sorry about. I hope I gave you enough information.
It's funny. I just want to say one last thing, though, before you go. Regarding the HARP, there's a saying called "The road to hell is paved in best intentions." I'm good. So regarding that HARP, you know.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much for the reading. I appreciate it.
You too.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Take care.
Folks out there listening, when you call in so we don't get disconnected, I go ahead and answer and let you just hold and listen to the conversation. As soon as one reading gets through, though, I will answer the other.
Hello.
And you know what? Can I say something first? Hello?
Go ahead.
I hope that when if I really hit on a nerve and the reading is really meaningful, that they will give a donation to you, Royce, because you're making this possible for them to have this. So if I really hit on a nerve and it really means something to you, I hope you'll honor that by doing a donation to Royce. And this was not rehearsed. This is just something that has come to me that it's really important.
I didn't know you were switching to go there.
I know. So this is, if I touch your soul, honor it by even a $2 donation. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just a little bit to let Spirit know that you honored what happened.
Now, back
Makes
to
sense?
The call-in. You still with us, caller?
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Hello there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can.
I'm just listening, and I hear you talking about 9/11 there. Have you watched the video there, 9/11, the new Pearl Harbor?
I didn't hear the whole thing, the 9/11, and then it went.
The new Pearl Harbor.
Oh, no. Well, I may have. I watched so much that, and I've been really intrigued by it. I may have, but I don't remember exactly. So if you want to tell me a little bit so it would quicken my...
It's a four. You can watch three 1-hour videos or 3 1.5-hour videos, or one video. The whole video is 4 hours. It's just over 4-hour video.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, it's called 9/11: The New Pearl Harbor.
I will watch that.
And another thing, you're talking about HARP. HARP is basically nearly obsolete now. They've got more modern things where they can float them around the planet, and they can put it right near the place where they want to do whatever they want to do. But the HARP is, I think, is in America, there in Alaska, is it? I think they're closing that down.
Well, there's what I have been told. I haven't had a way to verify this. 17 HARP installations around the world. And Khrushchev in the 70s was aware of this HARP machine, and he warned that this could be the downfall of the planet if they start to use this way of battling And he was concerned, and that was Khrushchev in the 70s saying that. And that's in my book.
Well, I know. I'm just saying is that harp is now becoming obsolete. They've got more modern things that they use instead of harp. They're actually on like a rig sort of thing. They can tow it around the world. There's a few of them. I mean, just not one. But
wow.
I think they are closing the one in Alaska down.
Well, I would hope so. I do know that when we had...
But that still doesn't stop what they're doing, because the modern ones they use the modern warfare they've got like for harp, but it's not stopping. It's just not the harp that's on the ground anymore. You know, on the land they can tow them around at sea. So it's not that they're stopping it, but wow. I think the one in Alaska is closing down.
Well, we had a fellow come up with the engineers and architects, and he went straight across Canada, and it was W5, Rethink 9/11, and W5 building they focused on. And when he came here to our town of Prince George, BC, there was a lady that I met there that in the 80s, she worked at the University of Alaska, and they had the HARP installation there. They were going through 100 railway cars a day to get the energy to make that HARP work at the University of Alaska, and that was in the 80s. So we can only just imagine how far they have come in the last 40 years to the technology they have today. And yes, I well imagine that it is on some kind of movable thing like, and maybe they've got a different source of energy now. That is, they don't need 100 yards, railway cars full of coal anymore. I would think they're doing something much different now to energize it. But I think people need...
They're not so... Anyway, they're not as big as what they are on land. They're quite small. And if you see them, I've seen them on it's like on a rig, and they tow them around. It's just a big ball sort of thing, dome, and it's a different. I'm not too clued up on how it's done, but anyway, I thought I'd just.
Is there any way that you would ever want to talk to Royce? Our interviewer here right now, because it sounds like you need to be on here doing your own show.
No.
I think you got a lot more information than I have. I think the world needs what you have to say, dear.
I don't think I could do that.
Oh,
anyway,
don't worry. I don't have teeth.
I think you really need... Are you calling in from England?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We don't want to run up your phone bill on you.
No. I've got a set up on my phone that I pay £5 a month for 500 minutes.
Oh,
wow.
Really? I got set up where I pay $12.99, and I get to call 40 countries around the world unlimited time.
Yeah, well, let's just say I can quite a few countries, and I get for £5 I get 500 minutes.
That's
not
pretty
a problem.
good.
Yeah.
You know what? Are you on Facebook? Because if you're on Facebook, I would love you to connect with me. My Facebook address is Georgia Love Now, all one word. And I really want to hear all that you have to say, because you are a gold. Here's Synchronicity again. How come you're on the show? What triggered you to turn on this show today?
Now, I listen to Freedom Slips quite a lot. There's some of the programs I'm interested in. Because when they're talking about Syria and things like that, I've always liked to, Ukraine and things like that, I like to keep up. What's his name? Steve, somebody, another. He wants to get Putin on these shows, so I'd like to hear that.
Because I would love to send you my book, Escape from Manhattan. That book was written in 21 minutes, and I don't know if you ever heard of a man named Jerry E. Smith. He wrote the book HARP, H.A.R.P., and he wrote that book, and it was like his spirit was guiding me through the science in this book, because my goal was to bring the scientific knowledge and the other part of my book to everybody, to all the people, so not just the scientists and the nerds. I wanted everyone to understand what was happening to our world so that we could get a handle on it and stop this.
HAARP was the Tesla invention, wasn't it?
Yes, but it was taken much farther. It was totally evolved to a much higher level of being. But what you're talking about is very fascinating. Anyway, what happened when Jerry E. Smith, I didn't know anything about him. I wrote my book. I went downtown to the local bookstore, found his book, and it was March the 8th, 2010, and I came home and I read his book and I thought, oh my God, I've done automatic channeling with this Jerry E. Smith. And March the 8th is the day he died, and I found that out because a week later I phoned Frontier Network. It's a publishing company with David Childress as the owner and manager.
Pardon for the interruption. I thought I'd let you know real quick. It's better known as Unlimited Press.
Unlimited Press. Okay, thanks for telling me that. And I found out that Jerry E. Smith died March the 8th, the day that I'd finished writing my book. I had 3 knocks on my front door. I went each time, there was nobody there, and that in my family goes back centuries where there's a death in the family. We get those 3 distinct knocks. We go, no one's there. And I realized that Jerry E. Smith wanted me to get this book out for the ordinary person, not the scientist, to get people to realize what is happening to our weather, to our world. And I still think HAARP is in control of the weather situation. And if it's fancy machine that you're talking about that's a dome and that is not permanent fixture, it can go anywhere, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, they would evolve. I mean, that's, with that HAARP thing or whatever, they're messing around with the weather. Yes, about it.
It is so.
It's don't understand it. You say to them weather modifications, they look at you as if you're mad.
Yeah.
They don't understand.
It's madness. It's crazy. They do not realize what they are playing with and what is going to maybe occur. And I believe Spirit World can do something about this. And because I don't see how, as ordinary beings, we've got the power to stop them. It's going to have to come from Spirit World. That's the only thing I can see. It's called Escape from Man. My book is called Escape from Manhattan. And Amazon has now told me that the royalties, I have to go to Europe somewhere to get any royalties for my book. So that is fine. I feel that it's just a matter of time when my book will be out there. It will go viral like Harry Potter, that people will get the guts to see what's going on and face life head on, that they won't always hide with their head in the sand like an ostrich, that there's going to come a time when they'll say, this is enough. This is enough. We've got to know what's really going on, and it's got to come to an end.
Did you say Escape of Manhattan? Escape
from Manhattan. And if you go on my ESCAPEFROMMANHATTAN.com, it's on the internet, and I feel strongly that if you go there, you'll realize what a serious person I am and how much I care. Like, I'm 67, and I'm willing to go into Spirit World anytime. Maybe that's what I'm not wanting to do that. I want to stay here as long as I can and educate. But, Spirit World, I'm not afraid to die. I know Spirit World is real. I've known it since I was 3 years old, and I know that I'm loved in Spirit World. And that just takes all fear away.
Yeah, well, good. I'd like to look up that book.
I would send you a PDF or an EPUB of it. I know it's so expensive shipping anything overseas from Canada there, but I would send you my book if you wanted to do that, if you wanted a hardcover of it. And maybe you can find a publisher in England for me. I don't know. I don't have much confidence in Amazon.
Facebook, I don't go to Facebook.
Okay.
But if you, is there any other way? What's your email? Have you got a website?
Yes, she does. As a matter of fact, if you're in the chat room, I'm pasting that in the chat room right now.
No, I don't think to go into the chat room either.
Oh, you're not?
Okay. Just go to escapefrommanhattan.com. You will find all kinds of links there. My email address is georgialoveauthor@gmail.com.
Georgia Love?
Author.
Author.
Yeah, author at
gmail.com.
Author,
you say author as a writer?
AUTHOR, writer, author, or if it's real,
author.
Yeah, or Georgia9@telus.net. That would get me to
Georgia 9,
the number 9, at telus.net. The reason why I give you the Gmail address first, because it's more important, because Gmail is a more secure internet than TELUS. TELUS is a very small company, and it's very easy for people to break in and hack into TELUS. It's easy. But Gmail, it has some stuff there to protect the person.
Okay. All right, very nice talking to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you for phoning.
Okay, doke. But if you get time, watch that 9/11, the new Pearl Harbor.
I will watch it. I will watch it.
I'll link to it in the chat room, by the way.
Wonderful.
Good. Okay, fine. Thanks ever so much, Bye.
Have a good day, dear.
Bye-bye.
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 Very friendly young man.
Yes, what an awesome young man. He cares, too. I know there are people that care about what's happening to our planet, that have a passion. Just as strong as ours, Royce. Maybe stronger, who knows? We're not alone. The fact that when you Google Dustified, all that came up. I have never thought to do that. That is amazing.
I Google everything I can think of. That's how you learn.
You're going to be pretty smart. I do, but see, now there is a whole venue of synchronicity. I mean, their time over in England, I think it's close to 10 o'clock at night over there. My time is 8 hours different. Yours would be 6 hours difference?
7 or 6, something like that.
Well, it's 7 o'clock p.m. their time, right? So after supper, he's listening to our show. So that's pretty exciting. You know, it's getting to England.
Well, also, he mentioned the fact that he wasn't in the chat room. That indicates that he's probably not on his computer right now, so he's probably listening from one of the many devices that Revolution Radio is broadcast on.
Isn't that wonderful? Oh, my God.
Somebody's iPhone or their BlackBerry or, whatever it is. Because people like listening to these shows when they're on the road from their car radio or wherever.
Oh, that is wonderful, Royce. You have grown. Since I first met you 3 years ago, you couldn't do that, could you?
No, but I don't have that technology on talk now. I just use Revolution's technology.
Well, that's wonderful. I mean, you're getting it there, right? And you're getting people to realize that you need financial support. I mean, you're trying to do this from the goodness of your heart, which you've done for how many years? 3 or more?
Oh, no, goodness, 7.
7 years you have volunteered your time and your energy to do this for people. And finally, they're getting the idea we should support this guy.
Yeah. But at any rate, we've got some 30 minutes almost left, or about 20 minutes, I'm sorry, and I don't want you to run out of time to have a chance to say something and we missed it because I didn't give you the opportunity.
Well, it was wonderful doing that reading for that gentleman. I would tell them that normally my readings go on for an hour, and I back it up with modern astrology, and I would do that on Facebook. I mean, if a person's on Facebook and they want a reading, I do the tarot, I do the dowsing, and the astrology, and they get pictures of what I'm working with because I've got my camera so I can do that. I can take pictures and send it to them. It's just so exciting. The spirit world is so real, and just open up your heart and your mind and take the fear away and stop watching your horrible Halloween movies. It's not like that over there in spirit world. It really isn't.
Well, yeah, but that's very
Hollywood.
Entertaining here where we're at.
That's Hollywood, okay? That's not reality.
Well, it would be entertaining if it wasn't.
Oh, I don't know. I get my kicks out of doing it on the positive side where it's all It's love and awareness, it's education, and they just guide you by your, like Jerry Smith did with me. Oh my God.
You know what's really interesting about Jerry Smith? This Jerry E. Smith has passed away, and I had a brother-in-law, Jerry D. Smith, who's also passed away, and they both passed away pretty close to each other.
Wow. And was he on this mindset? Was he with us or?
No, he just working for a paycheck like everybody else. Came down with cancer.
Oh my God. Well, I have found out in the last 2 months why our bodies start breaking down at age 45, approximately, because our bodies slow down, sometimes stop making a thing called glutathione. And if you Google glutathione, your brain will just go in a real super, jump again, because this is one of the most important things. It's equal to oxygen, water, and a food source to our bodies and to our cells. In fact, at the time of death, the glutathione is not in any of the cells. And so we slow down making it. And it's so important to our bodies. And so if your body started slowing down around 40, 45, and all the cancers and diabetes and asthma and everything else started to hit you around that age, it's because you weren't making glutathione anymore, or darn little of it.
That's the first time I've heard of glutathione.
Well, you go Google that. Because this wonderful company I'm involved with called Max International, the researchers, and just going there to Max International and checking on the researchers there, they've found a way to make an element called ribosine. And ribosine is in a little pill, and it's called Celgevity on the marketplace. And when you start taking that, your body starts making this glutathione at the level that it should make it at. And your body I don't know if you saw the movie Cocoon, which was so interesting because it showed all these older people getting their health back and their energy back. Well, my God, it works. We don't have to meet any aliens. We just have to take 2 tablets before breakfast and 2 tablets halfway through the day, and you get your Celgevity, that's called Celgevity, and your glutathione comes back into your body, and you start healing again. And oh boy, it doesn't affect anything else. You can take all your other meds as much as you want, because this glutathione is like oxygen and water. It does not interfere with anything else.
So you can get this at Seacoast?
No, you get it through me. Just Google me, GeorgiaLoveAuthor@gmail.com or Georgia9@telus.net. And I can give you all the information for you to go study and research, because I don't expect anybody to take my word for anything. I wish they would, but I don't expect any of it. And go do the research, because it's all there. All the information is there for your health to return and for you to be a vibrant human being again, without pain, without illness. It's there for you at a very affordable cost. They've even made it possible if you've got 3 friends that want to try it, you get yours free. Have you ever seen going to Costco and getting 3 friends to buy a bottle of milk and you get your milk free? I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, is that spelled Glutasion? Glutatione. Glutathione. Thion. I had Scion.
Yeah, you will find and then Google, you can go to my website, which is www.max.com/523561. And there's videos there in the media section. You just go and research all of that and give yourself a big hug, because you're on the way to becoming healthy and vital. I feel I've got the health that I had when I was 35, and it was wonderful. So it's just reversing what's been going on for my health. I'm just so totally excited about it. And this is what happens to everybody. When they start seeing what's going on with our health, it's a nutritional. You could call it a nutritional. It's not a supplement. It's something far past a supplement. It is the mother of all oxidants, and Dr. Oz even said so on his TV, that glutathione is the mother of all oxidants. And it goes on when vitamin C and omega-3 and everything else stops. It's going on and on and on. There's no end to it to keep your body healthy and you're doing the right thing. So all I know is I'm not on my blood pressure pills anymore, my water pills. I'm 30 pounds lighter, and I'm going from 7 in the morning till 11 at night, full out. And I did that at 35, and I'm doing it again. And I'm just so excited. I mean, to have that kind of energy.
I'm about 55, and I'm usually up from 7 until 11 myself.
Yeah, but you keep breaking down, and I don't want you doing that anymore. I want you to show those doctors. Just think about it. Imagine showing those doctors that you're repairing your health and they can't understand why. Would that not give you one heck of a kick?
But this pill doesn't promise to do that. I think it's just kind of like stops the aging process. Doesn't take something that's been ripped and sew it back together, for example.
I think, okay, wait a second. I injured my big toe. And I was told, I've had the toenail replaced, torn out twice. And I've been told by the doctors that it would never heal, that I would never have a normal-looking toe. I've only been doing Celgevity for 2 months, but my toenail is starting to look totally normal. It's growing again. And I'm able, not the toenail, I mean, your blood to your feet doesn't circulate as well as it circulates to other areas of your body. And if it can do that to my big toe, this is from my experience, and I had a small bald spot on my head, it's gone. My receding hairline is gone. What else? And all the weight's gone. 30 pounds is gone. And I have a flat tummy again. And I don't know, that's my experience. Like, I'm elated, and I have this amazing energy again.
Well,
and the other thing I
can picture, you've never been overweight.
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe by your opinion, huh?
My face, that picture, I cheated. I'll admit I cheated. Okay, my face is looking more like that every single day. Oh, I had a lump on my neck that wouldn't go away. I tried for 14 years. Did everything you could imagine.
Oh, that was a younger picture.
Yeah. I am starting to look like that again because the lump is gone on my neck. I don't have that lump anymore. My body has reversed. For me, my experience, my body has reversed the aging process. I don't know if that can happen for anybody else, but for me, yes. When my receding hairline, because women can go bald too, it starts to go the other way, and I have a flat tummy again, and 30 pounds is gone. Don't have heart problems anymore. No more water gain. You better believe I am one excited, super excited girl.
Well,
this has been my experience.
How much is a bottle of that?
It's $65 a
Whoa!
month. But you find 3 other people that want to try it. Yours is free.
Yeah, you have to keep doing that every month to get a fresh supply.
Well, I'm not giving Costco $120 a month for omega-3s anymore. And what else was, and all the vitamins I was buying $120 a month for Costco, and the $120 for the blood pressure and water pills, not paying that anymore. So I'm $240 a head right there, which was none of that was helping me. Wasn't changing a darn thing.
You're lucky you can do that.
You know, well, you just never know. You just never know, because glutathione is used in every part of your body, from your mind to your lungs to your heart, especially in your mind. Glutathione is really important with helping with dementia and Alzheimer's. For me, I can think clear, I sleep sound, I remember my dreams when I wake up in the morning, and a lot of them are motivational. Like, I'm getting ideas that I wouldn't have had before, and I'm being guided even more. So I can't tell you any more than that. I'm excited.
Well,
I want people to go and look and see the testimonials, go and see, like, Chuck Norris and Glenna Norris are ambassadors, and Chuck Norris is Googled more than anybody else in the world on the internet, more than the Pope, more than Obama, more than the Queen, more than any movie star or athlete. He is number 1 Googled, and he is our sponsor, like our ambassador. And Stephen Scott is the one that put this business together. And he had the Total Gym. He had Dollar Meal with Richard Simmons. I mean, he made a fortune. He doesn't have to work. My God, he's a multimillionaire. And he put this business together, I believe, 7 years ago. And he is all over the world. I believe we're in 20 countries now. And just to see the abundance, because it's not just health, it is abundance, it's wealth too. There are ways to make money with this company that we can't even imagine.
I was thinking to say a second ago, you triggered a thought in me. How does synchronicity work in dream life?
In where? In green?
Dream, like when you're having dreams.
Oh, well, I believe that when you're asleep, and especially when you're sleeping as sound as I'm sleeping right now, I believe I'm closer to the spirit world when I'm out that cold. I believe that my spirit people, my ancestors, my people have passed over, can give me dreams that are vivid. Well, that's what Tesla said. He'd go to sleep and he'd have dreams in the morning and he'd act on them. Who else? Ford did that. I don't know how many of our other scientists. They would go to sleep and they would wake up with the answer to their problem or a new invention in mind. Edgar Cayce, he was a sleeping prophet. He would go to sleep and he would have healing dreams of what people needed and the letters were read for him when he was in a sleep state, and he'd wake up or he'd give the answer while in the sleep state. So yeah, when I can sleep really sound with Cellgevity and Max International, yes, I'm getting there. I want to write my next book on modern astrology. I'm trying to finish the one up on synchronicity and get it out there. But I'm wanting to find a publisher I can trust. And I was told by, what was that company? That my books were too real for, now I can't think of the name. Actually, there were two.
Inner Traditions?
No, my books were too much for, Lord, just give me a second. Oh, darn, I can't think of it. Ones you would think that would really want to be promoting my books, right? Frontier Unlimited Press won't do it because I've called it a creative nonfiction. They will only do plain nonfiction. You have to have modern astrology and synchronicity. I believe, just go straight and not make any creative part to it. Just be real nonfiction. They may start, I don't know, publishing my books, but I'm trying to think of the name. The Aquarian Press. They told me my books were too real for them. And the other one that you would think, it's not Banyan Books, it's, I cannot think of the name of that one. But you would think that they would want my books because they're supposed to be so avant-garde, but they don't want my books. They're too real. So, yeah, what does that mean, too real? Too much information.
Google Inner Traditions, Bear and Company. I happen to know that I interview, hundreds of their authors, and a lot of the books I've interviewed on dealt with holistic healing.
What is the
synchronicity and sacred numbers and stuff like that.
What is the name of that place again?
Inner Tradition, Bear and Company.
Inner Tradition. I've got that written down. Bear.
Bear, as a grizzly bear.
Bear, BEAR.
BEAR.
.com.
Well, it's not. That's what you Google. The actual link, I think, is much shorter. I think it's just Inner Traditions is the link. Let me Google it real quick because I never bookmark it for some reason. So
it's Inner Tradition Bear, and you said another word.
And Company.
And Company.
Yeah, and Company. The and symbol.
Okay. I am going to do that today. I am definitely going to do that today. Because that's the answer, because I know people want this book, and Amazon has so blocked me. They're now telling me if my book is selling in Europe, I have to go to some European bank to get my money from there. So you know what? I'll never see it. It's like when my book sells in Canada, I never see any money.
Okay, it's Inner Traditions. That word is plural. I apologize for that.
So Inner Traditions Bear and Company.
Well, all you got to do is Google www.innertraditions.com.
Okay, I will do that today.
And they handle a lot of books just like yours. I don't know what they charge, because the only dealings I have with them is interviewing their guests, and they send me some of the books for review, in other words. But other than that, I don't know much about their inner workings, in other words.
Oh, that would just be wonderful. At this point, I don't even care if I make any money on the book. I just want it out there. You know, after 4 years of trying to get it out there and blocked every which way, just to get it out there, just for people to read it and realize, because so much of the book talks about synchronicity in our lives. It talks about the paranormal. You know, what is numerology? What is reincarnation? What's tarot cards? How do they work? How does modern astrology work? It's all of that, and it's a whole education to just to know what is going on, and why people should not be afraid of any of this, but receive it, welcome it into their lives, and get moving on it, make it work for themselves. I mean, I view myself as a teacher. I don't want to play God for anybody. It's the last thing I want to do. I just want to teach.
I hope not. That's my job.
Yeah, you do.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't.
Oh, you're fun. You are fun, honest to God.
Do you have any last-minute thoughts before they interrupt us again?
Oh, I hope people will finally go to my Facebook, Georgia Love Now, or email me, georgia9@telus.net, or georgialoveauthor@gmail.com, or, I want to connect with people, and I'm willing to do readings for them online. They can phone me. We can do it over the phone. I have long-distance plan on my phone to talk to anybody. Do you want to
give them your phone number live on the air, or do you think that's a bit risky?
That is too risky. Way too risky.
You might get calls you don't want with the ones you do want.
I might get bumped off, and I don't plan to go just yet. I've got a bit more to do. I've got to finish these 2 books for sure.
Okay, and that's the only 2 books you're going to be working on, right?
Well, for right now. Right now.
Well, I can't let you escape yet because you hadn't told anybody a word about your show.
Oh, I have the 4th Dimension next Thursday at 3 o'clock. That's October the 22nd at 3 o'clock. And I'm hoping to have Royce on as a guest if he can do it.
And when was that again?
3 o'clock, Thursday, October the 22nd, PST time.
That was going to be 1 my time, wasn't it? Or
5 o'clock your time, so
okay.
It's for 1 hour.
And that's this coming Monday?
No, Thursday at 3 o'clock.
Wait a minute, Thursday?
Isn't that October the 22nd? What am I telling you?
The 22nd is a Wednesday.
Okay, let me see. I'm screwing up. You're right. It's on Wednesday. You're the Thursday guy. I'll get it right here yet. Sorry about that. See, talking for 2 hours straight, my brain.
My show here is Thursday. It would have to be right.
My brain went, buddy. Yes, it's 3 o'clock. Sorry.
3 o'clock Wednesday, 22nd.
Yes, sorry about that. See, after talking for an hour and 45 minutes, the brain starts to go. But, to be able to talk this long and try to hold the conversation together, I don't think I got dementia yet.
Actually,
I don't know, though.
Good. I've tried to do a show by myself, and it's not easy.
Oh, it's hard, but you make it fun, Royce.
So, what are we going to talk about?
I'd like to talk about the smart meters.
Smart meters.
They're going on all across Canada trying to put in these meters on our houses to view our electrical.
I got one of those on my house.
Where is your head when you sleep at night to the position of that smart meter?
To the north.
Okay, but are you far away from that smart meter?
Probably about 10 or 15 feet.
Ouch.
But it's on the outside. I'm on the inside.
It doesn't matter. Is there any way you can sleep farther away from that smart meter? Can you find a way to sleep 30 feet away? Would there ever be a way to do that? Or
no,
far
not
away?
this house. We're in a small 2-bedroom house.
Oh, dear man. Well, I know here in Canada, Saskatchewan has taken them totally out because they've caused house fires. The damn things start on fire. Forgive me for saying that word. But, they're not healthy. They're really, and I'll have someone on hopefully that can talk about the health risks with them. And, their mind control too. It's not just health, it's what it can do to your mind. I'm so lucky I'm 30 feet away from mine. I'm so grateful.
They're talking about the Nephilim in the chat room, and I was going to mention, if you run out of time talking about meters, we could also, if you have an interest in it, talk about ancient astronauts, because that's what the Nephilim is all about. They usually pronounce it Nephilim.
Really?
Yeah, but you may not. I don't know if you're familiar with that topic or not.
Oh, we can talk about whatever you want. I'm going to be your host. Hostess. So, yeah, I can hardly wait. I mean, you're going to carry the conversation next week.
But here in Houston, they was making these smart meters mandatory. Are they making them mandatory in Canada?
Yeah, they have, but we have a coalition here fighting it all the way. And they've been able to pull them all out of Saskatchewan. And there's a coalition trying to get them out of Canada altogether because they are so harmful to the body, right? So, I'm going to have a lady on, hopefully, that is from the coalition. I should contact her today to set that up. So I should do that right after I get off here with you and just try my hardest to get through to her.
Well, are they letting Canadians refuse it if they want to?
This particular lady she's down in Mission, BC, and she has a child care facility in her home, and she flatly refused, and they weren't able to put it on her house. And so she is part of this coalition and working around the clock to make sure that other people that don't want it can get it off their houses. So I don't know if that can be applied.
Is this something that they made for it to do on purpose, or is this just a malfunction?
It's a malfunction of the smart meter itself. It can burst into flames.
So they could come out and fix it too, though, couldn't they? Or do a recall?
No, it happens so randomly. You know, it happens so fast. It's something wrong within the thing itself. There's no warning that it's going to happen. And there's no way that you would know the smart meter was going to work that way.
You know what's bad with that being on the outside of our house? That could burst into flames out there, and we'd probably never know it until a certain portion of the house, burn away until we could smell it inside or it burnt through to the inside, and then we'd we're on fire.
Yeah, exactly. A little girl lost her life in BC a little while ago because of it. They didn't get her out of the house in time, and she lost her life. And it's happening.
In this house.
Oh, Jesus, you'd be in trouble, sweetheart. You have a reason to say, no, I do not want this instrument in my house, on my house. Yes, you can do something. I think you can, Hi. I don't know about the States, but if you were in Canada, you certainly could.
Much chance of me going to Canada.
God.
I might want to visit it sometime, but my wife would never give up this house.
Oh, my goodness, eh?
And of course,
just have some pretty good fire alarms. Yeah. I'm available. But now that you've said that, they would say it was a marriage of convenience. And are you allowed to do a marriage of convenience? I don't know. Oh, my goodness.
Canada's rules.
I don't know either. I know I'm single, and I can marry someone.
All right.
Oh, Lord. But I want somebody. Hey?
I was going to ask, are there any other projects you want to let everybody know about? Because we're about to get interrupted. I'm trying to get everything out there for you I can.
Oh, God, I can't think of another. Well, I might be doing the Edmonton Body, Spirit, and Soul Expo. And I would be selling my book there, and I would be doing readings, and that would be in Edmonton. So anybody in Alberta, if they're listening in, my goal is to get to the Edmonton Expo, and that is November the 15th, 16th, and 17th, I do believe. Yeah, the 14th, 15th, and 16th. Pardon?
Are you going to be one of their speakers?
Oh, I'll get up and talk for a bit, too. Yes, I certainly will, because I'll be wanting to sell my book there. Yeah, I'll be wanting to do that.
Okay. I know a few people in Canada. Maybe they'll want to attend. There's a few authors I know up there.
Yeah, I mean, we have such long 6-month winters that, yes, writing a book is probably one of the things that we get into. You can't go outside because it's blizzarding, so you just work away, right?
So you guys don't get fall?
We get a very short fall, about a month and a half, and then, we usually have snow by Halloween. We just get it from September the 21st to October 31st. I think that's about.
Oh my goodness, we have warm Christmas days here.
Oh God. Yes, I envy you guys. Our winters are long. The snow isn't gone until April in this part of my world. Yeah. So we have May, June, July, August, and September. That's about 6 months, right?
Yeah, we only have like 2 or 3 months of a hard winter. January, February, and March, we're coming out of it.
That would be so nice. God.
But then, like this year, we had a super long spring.
Really?
It rained all through spring, all through summer, and now it's been raining a lot through the fall months as well. And who knows, they might have HAARP pointed at us right now, and we don't know it.
Oh, they are so trying to create chaos all over the world, right? And to, strip the finances from the middle class so that we're at their mercy. And I'm lower middle class because I'm a pensioner, right? So I don't even qualify for much. But it is so sad to see that they're able to do this. And part of HAARP is they're wanting to melt that ocean above northern Canada, which you'll see on my website. They're determined to get the ore from Frobisher Bay to China. And they are that's why our weather is so extreme all over the world, is that when you use HAARP to cut giant icebergs and to melt the ocean above Canada, you've got problems. I mean, it's just speeding up climate change incredibly.
I just put your link to the escapefrommanhattan.com in the chat room, and my is www.talknowradio.net. I'm interrupting you and getting this in real quick, like, because as you can hear, the music is trying to shut us up. Okay. And we got to make room for the next host to come up live on the air.
Well, I so appreciate you, Royce, and you take care. And the next time you're starting to feel sick, you find a way to get away from that darn smart meter, okay?
You have a choice.
Go sleep with your kids.
I'll go into the VA and spend 2 days with them.
Or a bold genius. What's the difference?
Okay. You be good.
A madman
you too.
is somebody who does the same action over and over and over for an unknown destiny. A bold genius is somebody who does the same action over and over and over again for a known destiny. That is why fortune always favors the bold. True titans of our times and of the past, who are bent on making most of their opportunities in life, are too busy to bother with luck. Luck is the good fortune you determine for yourself. So find the strength, have the knowledge, summon up